Hello and welcome. Today we're taking a look at some of the most recent updates from BureauWorks. This isn't a product demo or sales pitch. We're here to explore how their team is thinking through actual localization problems and how that thinking is translating into product choices. Joining me today are Hugo and Luiza from the BureauWorks team. I'll set each problem and they'll show us how the feature works. And I'll close each section with a brief natural takeaway. Let's get started. So, Hugo and Luiza, welcome on the show.
Hello. Hiya.
Great to have you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much again for the invitation and the opportunity to talk a bit more about BureauWorks.
Excellent. This is exactly what we want to do. So let's dive into it. We have a couple of items on the list. Let's start with the first one. Hugo, translation smells and one-click fix it. So quality issues like awkward style bias or unclear phrases often slip through until the final QA, when it's almost too late to fix them properly. So how do you catch these issues early and make it easy for translators to correct them on the spot?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ian. And actually, we developed Smells. And for those who haven't had the chance to meet it yet, Smells is a semantic checker that acts like your trusted sidekick, reviewing your translation real time and flagging any potential issues. And the beauty behind the Smells is that it doesn't just catch typos, grammar mistakes, and omissions, but also picks up some nuance. Like you can be translating to Portuguese from Portugal, and even the translation can be right, but Smells is going to flag, okay, this translation is good, but this doesn't make any sense in Portugal because of that, because of this. I would suggest to use this other translation here. So, of course, I prepared here a specific segment for that, and I can show you how this works. So, basically, while we are working in BureauWorks, you can rely on Smells to cover your back. For example, here I have this basic translation here by silly mistakes. In Brazilian Portuguese, this is translated right. I can, for example, remove the last letter here and see what the Smells is going to say. So basically right now, the Smells is saying I have a grammar problem. And that's right. This is saying directed bobos should agree a number with the noun erros. The correct form is erros bobos. And when we started creating the Smells was to make sure the linguists have someone reviewing their content in real time to avoid any major mistakes to be confirmed in the translation memory and to be delivered to the client. So not only that was enough for us, we decided to also include a way to have this automatically fixed. So include this fix button here. So basically, if one click, the translator can just have this translation fixed. And as I was saying, this method was really powerful because, for example, let's say I want to include now a typo problem here. Let's see what this method is going to say. Because now I have a spreading problem. Now I have a little translation feedback. And that's right. I included this on purpose. And you can also define if you want these mails to be compact. So you don't need to read everything from the feedback. You can rely on your feelings. But also if you want these mails to be there for you, not compact, you can always customize these in the settings. If you want to receive the feedback in your mother language, we can also include that here. And right now, let's see, I want to include this from the masculine form to the feminine form. Let's see what this mail is going to say. Okay, this is now in my mother language, Brazilian Portuguese. Then it's saying you should use evos and not bobas and not bobos and not bobas here. And that's totally right. I can just hit up one button here. This mail is going to pick that for me. And what I'm saying about, let me just get back this to English. But what I'm saying about this mail is not only checking if this is wrong, if this is right, is when I include it in a formal way, for example. So now I have a missing preposition, but I also have the register mismatch. So the English is saying, by silly mistake, usuals a casual, playful tone. The translation tchauzinho is informal but lacks a connection word. So basically, you can play the whole day with Smells, and just to say that Smells is really, really powerful for translator, because while they are translating the Go in BureauWorks, they can rely in this AI mechanism to avoid that they are confirming any kind of issues on their translations.
Got you. Is there any possibility for the translator to configure this feature?
Yeah, actually not, because this is working by itself. But as configuration, you can, for example, define if you want to compact or not compact this information. For example, here I can read both the feedback, or I can just keep this like this. And if I want to rely on this feedback, I can just click on it and see if this makes sense or not. And this one is pretty good. So this is saying the phrase "tchau erros bobos" is a literal translation. It may sound natural in Brazilian Portuguese. A more geometric expression could be "adeus erros bobos" or "chega de erros bobos." And I can totally agree with that. So this is how Smells works.
You have seen it, guys. A very fast way to get the smell of a translation right and to approve it as a translation. Thanks a lot, Hugo.
My pleasure.
The next feature, we talk about auto task placement, Hugo. Assigning translation tasks can be one of the most repetitive and time-consuming parts of a project manager job. But automating it requires trust. Can the system really pick the right linguist with the right rate and speciality on its own at this moment?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, Jan, I've worked as a localization project manager for years. And honestly, assigning tasks manually, even, for example, for Asian languages, used to be a nightmare for me. And don't get me wrong, it had nothing to do with the languages and themselves or my translator partners, but the real issue was the time zone differences. So what is 1 p.m. in Brazil, for example, is 1 a.m. in Japan. So I often lose the entire day or two just trying to assign a task manually, usually having to log in late at night or outside of work hours. And actually, when this auto task placement came, honestly, it saved my marriage. Because now BuildWorks takes care of assigning tasks for me. You can define the parameters. So I'm showing you right now in my screen. It's totally customizable, you know. So for example, you can define the quality metrics. So this is basically taking into account the linguist's past performance. If they are translating that good or that including any kind of mistakes. And then the system is automatically calculating their quality metrics, and you can rely on this on BuildWorks. So you can say, okay, for this specific client, I want to offer tests only to linguists over 80% of quality. For this particular client, I want to offer tests only to linguists or over 95% of quality. So this is totally up to you how you can customize that. Another cool stuff is related to the rate filter. If you have different profit margins per client, per service, per language combination, you can also say this to BuildWorks. And BuildWorks is going to get the right candidates for that task. Another cool stuff is related to tags as well. You can use tags in BuildWorks to say, hey, this linguist is good in marketing. This other linguist is good in legal. This linguist used to be used to follow the turnaround time. This other used to late a little bit. So you can use tags for in a way as to filter linguists per client, per service, per language combination, and per style as well. So basically, if you have this in place, BuildWorks is doing the hard work for you. So as a project manager, it saves a lot of time because you don't need to care about manually assign 100 and hundreds and hundreds of tasks yourself. The system can offer the test automatically via email to the linguist. They can log in at the platform. They can see the details, the word count, the due date, the client name, and a few examples, a few preview segments. And they can say, no, this one, I'm available. I can do it. This other one, I'm not available. I'm going to decline it. And doing that, you can save a lot of time because instead of manually assigning hundreds and hundreds of tasks, BuildWorks is doing that for you. Mm-hmm. And you can just work as an exception base. So you have, let's say, 20 languages to be assigned. The AutoCast placement already assigned 18 for you, 19 for you. You can just accept that one or two that is missing. So basically, this is how this works. And for the linguist, this works as a first come, first service basis. So the first eligible linguist that accepted the test will be assigned automatically right away. And this person can already start his or her work right away as well. So this means I can approve now a Japanese project at 2 p.m. my time, what is 2 a.m. Japan time. And wrap up my day at the end of my business day, like 5 or 6 p.m. And when I'm back at work, in the next morning, chances are the task is already assigned or even fully translated and reviewed.
Sounds excellent. Hugo, one follow-up question here. If I have a stable set of translators for a certain project, but I have like a main linguist and then a second linguist, is there a possibility to work on with this feature if the main translator is not available? So how would I do that?
100%. Basically, at the project level, you have the test tab like this. And in the test tab, you have the details about this. So you can go to my task details, for example, and here you'll be able to see who is eligible for that test. For example, look, I have a single linguist eligible for that because according to my quality parameters, according to my profit margin here for translating from English to German, and accordingly to the tags I have available for that project. But let's say one single linguist here is not enough. This person is busy. This person is not available. I can always customize this. I can decrease or increase my profit margin. I can decrease the minimum score. And I can also add or remove tags at the project level. Doing that, more people from this language combination will become eligible and they will receive a mail notification about that. They can accept the test afterwards.
Excellent. Yeah, you guys have heard Hugo. Super powerful. You might go just to sleep and your Japanese team will get assigned automatically done by BureauWorks. The only thing is you need to have a clean setup, like always. So some sort of administration work is required to have this feature working. Sous-Chef AI. Hugo, we have talked about Sous-Chef a couple of months ago in one of my videos. You can find here in my channel. Now it's live, and I would love you to show us a little bit how this works.
Yeah, it's live and it's up and running, and the clients are absolutely loving it because the Sous-Chef is another powerful tool that we have in BureauWorks and give you the full control to define the flavor of your translation in BureauWorks. So the way that fits your needs. So it's always started by analyzing our source content, like it was just made here. And this after running this analysis in our file, the Sous-Chef is going to provide backup of guidelines for that. Because probably what is a market email or it is a security policy or a third-party agreement, or it can be actually even a video. So basically, the Sous-Chef captures the essence and provides tone and style guidelines tailored to the account. But there is where it gets even better because you can customize everything. You might say, hey, okay, this is the BureauWorks website, the domains, translation, localization, technology, that's right. But I don't want to translate this in the neutral way. I want to translate this in a formal way. And the tone, according to the Sous-Chef, could be confident, engaged, and professional. But I want this to be witty in that case. The audience, the localization manager, translation agencies, and translator, that's right. But for now, I want this to be the audience for this to be signatures from Argentina. For that, this is a special content. So you can define the audience, the domain, the formality, the tone. You can even say, oh, I want this to be highly creative. I want this to be less creative. And after that, after you define the guidelines, you can just get a cycle translation for that. So basically what the Sous-Chef is doing is, according to your source content and according to the guidelines you are providing to the Sous-Chef, what is one of these three options that sounds better for you, that works better for your needs? So here I have three options. I'm not a Spanish speaker, I'm sorry. But basically you have three different options and you can say, for me, oh yeah, if this makes sense in Spanish. But basically you have three options, you can pick one. And the beauty behind the Sous-Chef is, let's say I do like this first one, I can just pick this one. This translation for teenagers will be there. And you can just confirm that and save this into your translation memory. So this means that the context sensitivity is another tool. You learn from your style, you learn from your choices and provide similar style and tone translation moving forward. So this is really powerful. And not only, it doesn't stop here. It even allows you for multiple variants of the same translation. That's distributed. For example, you receive a source content from a client, let's say, to translate from English into Spanish. And then the client want this Spanish translation to work for different audience, for different people, different ages. And so also you can give different variants for that and work of that. So you can have different translation for groups, for regions, for countries, or even genders. And that's brilliant because with a single click, with a single configuration, the output will become in the accordingly to the style you want. So yeah, this is how the Sous-Chef is working. This is already live and working for every single user you have in BetterWorks.
Wonderful. Wow, this is super powerful. And I think people are embracing it quite a lot, I guess. How's it on a document level, string level? It's on a document level, I understand. So what you said is you manage, you apply the Sous-Chef on a string, and then it will take up the tone you have picked for the next upcoming strings, right?
That's right. Yeah, this is actually at the file level. So you can define this per file. So even the same project, probably you can have content from marketing team and a lot of content from legal team. So the Sous-Chef is going to take this into consideration. And you can always customize this and use the language that fits you better.
Got you. Wonderful. Try it out, guys. Now we transition to Luiza. You're here to show us a couple of features. Especially, it's not the heart of enterprise, or in the heart of enterprise localization. We often see spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, right? So what have you invented now to make the life of all those people with Excel spreadsheets a little bit better?
Sure. Yeah, so we all know that spreadsheets can become a nightmare if they are not treated properly. But yeah, now in BetterWorks, we can support creating projects using multilingual Excel files. It's quite easy to use and quite customizable. So yeah, just let me share my screen here. Yeah, so I have an Excel file here. This is just an example. This is quite a simple one, but we can scale this for as many language pairs as you'd like. And BetterWorks can treat them all in a simple configuration. But yeah, this is a multilingual Excel. I have some columns here where I would like my content to be placed and my source content where it's placed. And also I have some columns that I don't need translation. There are some just guidance and information from my project managers. And BetterWorks can treat this too, only parsing and only looking for the intended content that actually needs the translation. So when I go to BetterWorks here, I already have a project being created. So I have the step 1 of the creation of the project. I already have all the fields filled in just to expedite our process. And I'll go to the next step. This is where I'll load my Excel file. So just selecting here, I can drag and drop, or select the browse option and look for the file in my computer. And this is where the configuration stands. So expanding the options in my Excel file, I will see I have a multilingual file option here. And here is where I can inform all my features. But also I can save this. And this is where it gets real good and real expediting things, because once I have created a project with an Excel file and I can inform BetterWorks as many as configurations as I would like for as many target languages that I would like, I can save this as a filter, and I can simply apply my filter to my file, and BetterWorks will read my configuration and apply it properly. Yeah, so I have BetterWorks here, and I already starting to create a project. I'm the step 1 of project creation, and it's quite simple in BetterWorks. I have all my fields filled in. Now go to step 2, where I uploaded my Excel file. And now I'll inform that this is a multilingual Excel, and this is where BetterWorks will understand that we are trying to use a single file, but we want to translate it to multiple language pairs. And I have the multilingual file option here, and I can manually enable it, and BuilderWorks will automatically understand from my target languages that I selected in step 1. And I'll simply fill in the columns where I'll need this content to be placed. But I can also save this as a filter and use this configuration in multiple filter projects, expediting any project management work. And I can find my filters here in BuilderWorks. I'll apply the multilingual source, and BuilderWorks will fill in the columns for me. Let me just fill in manually. We need to inform the column name, the sheet name here. Mm-hmm. I can exclude some rows. So in my model Excel file, I have this first row that I don't need to translate. My content is only starting from row number 2. So I'll exclude row 1, and I'll exclude some columns too, because I have some metadata that I don't need them to be translated. So I'll exclude column A, B, and D. I will inform that my source is in column C. The PTBR one should be placed in column F. The Spanish one is in the column E. And I also selected an additional language here that is not being informed in my Excel file. That is French. And that's no problem at all. I simply need to inform an empty column. So BuilderWorks will fill in this column for me with my translation properly without any problems. I'll just save this here and create my project. With my project created, if I open any work unit, I'll be able to see that BuilderWorks parsed exactly the columns that I informed it to. So only the pricing is starting the pricing, that is row 2, column C, as informed. And I can see in my preview that my metadata is available for me to keep looking at it. Maybe I can see some information to my linguist here. And this is still being showed in the preview, but the translation will be focusing only on the rows and columns that I informed. So I have other prepared project here with an already delivered task. And the magic behind the multilingual is that I can request the download of the translated file directly into a single target language, and BuilderWorks will download for me the Excel fill-in with all other target languages in the same file. So that's the beauty behind the multilingual. If I request the download of the translated file here, BuilderWorks will generate the file, and I will receive back a complete file with all the target languages filled in as needed.
Excellent. This is especially useful for large companies that have internal systems that export into CSV files and then send it to translation and then need to re-import it in their homegrown CMS, right?
Exactly. And this is the final file where BuilderWorks placed the target exactly where I informed them. And even my extra target language was placed in the column that I informed. And my project manager can just create a row here for the information of the target, or just use this content as needed.
Excellent. Luiza, is there any suggestion for users to configure the spreadsheets, or is there any templates you offer, or is it just going into the configuration, BuilderWorks accept the structure of the file? And
we don't have any models that need to be used. We just recommend creating a cleaner Excel file because we do rely on the configurations of the structure of rows and columns. Mm-hmm. So just making sure that your content can be tracked in a columned way, BureauWorks should deal with that without any problem.
Mm-hmm. Some Excel files have tabs in there. Is that a problem for BureauWorks?
No, not a problem at all. That's a great question and catch because we can and support working with multiple tabs within the same Excel file. You just need to inform BureauWorks in that configuration filter that you have more than one tab in your spreadsheet, and simply reply the configurations to each necessary tab.
Wow. This is very, very powerful. I think people will love this feature, as so many companies still work with Excel files. So excellent. Thanks a lot, Luiza, for the presentation of this new feature. Last but not least, the glossary Kanban and bulk import. Luiza, what's that about?
Yes, so we can manage terminology in BureauWorks as glossaries, normal glossaries structure. We do support creation of terms in BureauWorks, and we have created this Kanban board to aid the responsible for glossary management, where they can, in a quite pleasant, a user-friendly way, see and keep track of the terms that are being suggested by the translators, that are being requested by their clients, and see and approve and move the terms in a Kanban style board, where they can keep track of the terms in lanes and make this management quite easily, and see if there's some terms that need to be updated and some terms that needs to be removed, or some terms that have been approved by the client and can be published in the glossary to be used in the editor and used by the translators. So this is our Kanban board. It's available for all users in BureauWorks. It's quite simple to enable and to configure. You just have to go to your account settings, and in business and terminology board, you can include the lanes, the standard lanes that we have in the default template, but you can also include the new lanes or rename the lanes to make the board fit to your use case. And in the glossaries, in the board tab, you'll be able to access it. Here we have some terms according to its lanes, where their status. I'm using the default template, so I have a new lane, an in progress, a rejected. Mm-hmm. And if I navigate here, I'll see a published lane. So yeah, I'm using the BureauWorks default, but I can simply, in a quite easy way, click on the term and see the concept term and its source and target languages. Sorry, not actually source, because the glossary is quite interchangeable. So we don't have a static source term, but yeah, we do have a concept and all languages that pertain there. And through the Kanban, I can either decide what to do with a single term within this concept. I can drag and drop. It's quite simple. So I can inform my responsible person, whoever, that, I don't know, maybe this term in TBR to get started is in progress. I'll need to have some linguists to check this, to make sure it fits my market, to make sure it fits my audience. And I can simply drag and drop it here. I can also drag and drop the whole concept to the necessary lane. So I can do this to a whole concept. I can also do this in bulk. So I have this little check option here, and where I can perform my actions, and I can move the selected terms that I'm requesting and inform directly which lane that we want to place them. And this is where it gets interesting, because we can not only move the terms, but we can perform actions in it. So if I need to go through some specialist to make sure that this term is fitted for my audience, this person can, in a permission-based access, they can access the Kanban and they can perform any edits they need. Maybe they want to change the text. Maybe they want to add some metadata, like they can make it case sensitive or turn this into a forbidden term. And I can also keep track of everything that happens with the terms in the Kanban, where we have the review history, and we can see not only the transition where the term suffered, like I have this term was in the new lane. Now I have changed it to the update, the in progress lane, but we can also keep track of the changes that this term received. So if I change this to comesti or to comestem in plural, and I save this, if I enter this again in the changes, this will be displayed. What changes that you received, who performed it, the time that it happened. So this is a quite powerful track changes for each term. And also we have in the glossaries themselves, we have the option to expedite things a little more, where we can not only import glossaries, because this BureauWorks already supported in the past, but now we can import terms directly to the board. So if I have an extensive list of new terms, new concepts, new translations, I can have this in an Excel file and import them directly to the board, where they can go through all the process of being evaluated and then going to publish. But I can also import them directly in the glossary, where they will appear already as published here in my list. And this feature supports the import of terms in bulk. So I can have extensive Excel file with lots and of terms. And with a simple click, I can import them all directly in BureauWorks. And also, if I have an ongoing glossary already in BureauWorks, I can export this glossary in an Excel file. I can choose actually, but with the Excel file, this can be easily managed, and I can keep track of, I can update any terms if I need. So let me just open a glossary here. I can make any updates. This is a exported Excel from my glossary. I can see that I have terms in English, United States. I do have a glossary configured to display Spanish from Spain, but I don't have any terms there. And if I row here, I can see that I have correspondence in Brazilian Portuguese. But if I'd like, I can change some things here. Maybe I want to say that this term here in English is a TMS. In Portuguese is saying sistema. And I can change this to say Sistema de Gerenciamento de Tradução. And I can just save this file. Sorry. And if I import this directly in BureauWorks again, BureauWorks will see that this glossary was already present here, that we have concept IDs and terms IDs. And if BureauWorks said to me that this now is complete, I can just refresh my page here. And where the TMS was saying just Sistema, now it's saying Sistema de Gerenciamento de Produção. And I can easily manage and update and keep track of my glossary using not only the Kanban board, but also this new feature of importing and updating terms.
Wow. Yeah, pretty impressive. I love it. And I think many people who work with terminology in their day-to-day will be pretty much amazed about the flexibility the BureauWorks right now offers to structure terminology and to work with it. Less painful, and especially for larger organizations. So,
yeah,
what we did see today is that BureauWorks not just adding features, but they are trying to redesign localization flows to be more automated, more contextual, and more translator friendly. But not no feature is a silver bullet. You have shown it today. You have to do some cleanup. You have to be serious about your efforts. But then I think we have seen a lot of very nice features in this review. So take it on. Thanks a lot, Luiza and Hugo, for your explanations today. And I'm very much looking forward to our next session in the future. So,
yeah, it's been such a pleasure being here, Jan. Thank you again for having us. And we had a great time sharing a bit about what we are building at BureauWorks. And I agree with you. We are not just talking about features. We are talking about innovation and make project managers and translators' lives easier. And I honestly cannot wait for the next video. And just a little spoiler before I go. Remember this name, Free Flow Editor. We are going to show out the next innovation we have got in the works. Stay tuned.
So you have heard it, Free Flow Editor. And if you found this useful, check out our other episodes on routing, Figma, and AI Assistant QA. So see you next time, and thanks a lot for watching.